Week by week, issue by issue, we drill down and get to the bottom of all sorts of different topics. Today, Outsider's Guide to Vegetarianism. Rita Panahi, James Morrow. Let's kick off with Rita. Your thoughts on vegetarianism. Is it a good thing, a bad thing? What's it all about?
Well, I'm very tolerant of vegetarians and vegans. I don't like the preachy ones who have become all strident and want to shame those who don't do what they do. But on the whole, I think at least they're doing what they preach. We see so much virtue signalling these days from people who, your Meghan and Harrys of the world, who say one thing and do another, tell you to cut down your carbon emissions while they jet around the world in private planes. At least with vegetarians and vegans, they do what they say. They make that personal sacrifice. And for me, it would be so hard. I did try veganism for a month. It didn't work out, obviously. There's a study out that 84% of vegetarians don't last more than a month. So people do try it and not everyone succeeds. I don't think James would ever survive as a vegetarian.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I try and be tolerant. I really do, Rita. I do try to be tolerant, Rowan. But, I find it very hard often to be tolerant of people like that, simply because they're often so preachy about it. One of the things that I always find very funny about the whole vegetarian, and vegan movement particularly is a couple of things. Number one, especially with the vegans, there seems to be a real class thing. It seems to be a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm almost too rich and posh to eat meat. I can just survive on these very expensive little, quinoa seeds or something like that. But the other thing that always gets me about this sort of thing is there's this real lack of confidence in it. For all of their preachiness, they lack the courage of their convictions. Why is it that they're always trying to make a hamburger out of vegetables? You never see somebody trying to make a bacon-based eggplant, do you?
Well, it's interesting because let's go down to the different aspects of what vegetarians are all about. I mean, veganism is a whole other thing, and it's kind of grown out of the vegetarian movement. But let's focus just on vegetarians. So the idea that you only eat vegetables rather than killing meat. Now, as an idea, it has been the basis of religions, Eastern religions, going back millennium. It's often, even Pythagoras himself was a vegetarian. There have been some great vegetarians and there have been some pretty hideous vegetarians